Order filled. Order cancelled. Order cancelled. Order filled. Order filled. Order cancelled. Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
buddy. That's as good as it gets right there. But
Even
anyways,
though
let's
he
get back.
wasn't really on the floor, I think, at that time, but that's pretty much what the floor sounded like.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's you could tell he's a product of the floor where he was.
Yeah, there's nothing sacred there.
Yep, gotcha, Jack. Nothing sacred. No punches held. They just let it rip down there. All right, let's get back to these markets here real quick. S&P's, I'm sorry, the Nasdaq tried taking a peek beneath 18,630. We did. We got down to about 21. So the buyers came in. Looks like we're gonna be in this range for the time being. JD, any thoughts? Anything catching your interest today?
Not particularly. Kind of slow. Nasdaq just barcoding, kind of jockeying for position around VWAP right now. I'm showing VWAP at around
What do you have it at?
chart 650 VWAP. What I'm looking at, yeah, just kind of bouncing
Yep.
around.
Six.
Great range day. Great, great trade for Dolby the House range trader.
I
Yeah,
like that. All right,
and
John.
that's
We were talking.
pretty much
Go
what
ahead.
Dakota and Jay and Andre and I were kind of saying. It's probably going to be somewhat of a range day, and the S&P's traded both sides of the initial balance, and that's the first sign of a day that's going to remain range bound. Nasdaq did not take out the low of the initial balance. It didn't really do much of anything here. I mean, think
No,
about this. The Nasdaq has a 57-point range right now. 57 points. Let me take a look back and see the last time that happened.
let's do that. You
Uh,
re-
Never.
oh God. So there you go. Yeah, I know. We
Well,
had
going
daily.
back here.
Real quick, we had a daily speech on the calendar today. She's speaking at a commencement speech. No comment on monetary policy. Go ahead, John.
All right, I'm looking back here. 257, 57. I'm going with never. I don't think I've seen an end of session range at 57 in the Nasdaq since it was trading 100.
Jeez.
I mean, I'm going back. We're back to middle of March. Nothing less than
What,
100 points. The
what are
odds
you
are
looking
it's
at? There?
going to extend the range at some point.
What are you looking at there, Hogue? Just
I'm looking. Well, I'm looking at the profiles because I
okay.
can. Here, I'll show everybody here. So let's go back to today. So there's our range for today. Paltry, 57-point range. This is regular trading hour session only, mind you. Yesterday, 117. Day before, 261 points, 168 points,
Order
101
filled.
points, 160 points, 131 points, 164 points. I got all the way back to the middle of March. There was not one day that had a session less than about 100 points. Here's 90 points. That is
Order canceled.
the 28th of March. Uh,
Order canceled.
so, if we're looking at these average daily ranges, the market is likely to extend the range at some point. Now, what direction, Andre? We do have
Yep.
delta
Just gonna go there.
divergence here.
Just gonna go
Let
there.
me get back to the Nasdaq to today. So we saw, a rotation near the high of value.
Order
So
canceled.
earlier, just a few minutes ago, and we saw that the market come off really quickly. So here's the profile again from today. These
Okay.
are 4 tick TPOs because the Nasdaq
Order
is so
canceled.
rangy. So we got up to what 661, and we came off that pretty quickly. We have not traded below the initial balance just yet. This is the area we were looking at for a long down here with in the house account 18,600, right? Because there
Yep.
was a little stutter step here on what was that Wednesday on the big rally day. So we're kind of thinking this might be some demand at this level, but we haven't had the opportunity to get there yet. We have looked above the initial balance. That is a failed upside auction. And then with this 57-point range with negative delta, with the market unable to extend the range lower, if the situation remains like this and we keep seeing increasingly negative delta, I would look for this market to pop at the end of the day. Maybe come up here, take out this point of control from yesterday, 18,710.
Okay.
But
Like
again,
it.
the longer we stay in this range, the deeper delta gets, the more likely we're going to see a short squeeze, perhaps at the end of the day. We start extending the range lower, we get down to that 18,600 level. That looks like a potential for a demand area. Then that's
Okay.
going to, again, trading above the initial balance. We trade below the initial balance. The probability is that it's going to remain range bound, which we've already done in the S&Ps. Here's the S&P profile, which is 10.5 points.
Yikes.
That kind of reminds me of when the market was just grinding higher day after day after day, and we were dealing with 10, 15 point ranges.
Brutal.
We're at a much higher level. It's going to be hard for this market to remain this way. But we had the failed upside auction. We looked below. This is one of the signs that the market is going to remain range bound. And the thing that sticks out most to me is the fact that we couldn't get to the naked volume point of control. This is that same area in the Nasdaq where we were looking for support today. Earlier, this would kind of equate to that 18,600 level. Well, we actually got there in the S&Ps. We looked below. We didn't, we couldn't get to the naked volume point of control. TPO point of control is up here. That's already done. So if we just stay range bound and we continue to see delta increasing in negativity, getting more and more into the negative numbers, that I think would increase the probability of a short squeeze later on during power hour. Who knows what's going to happen? We'll see.
I love that, John. Great stuff. What were those two numbers? The delta for ES and Q, just so we can track that throughout
Right
the day.
now, negative 7,600 in the S&Ps and negative 3,900 in the Nasdaq. Of course,
Okay.
we'll be updating that throughout the day. Of course.
Thank you. Lane range, Alex Bradley says, it is what it is. It's a Friday. We got all the Fed speakers out of the way. And yeah, we're just going to trade sideways a little bit, which is okay.
Yeah, kind of got a nice little bull flag forming on a 4-hour chart in the Nasdaq. I just
Can you
kind
show
of
us?
noticed that.
Show us.
Oh, I'd never shared my charts. Hang on a second.
Okay. JD is our chart pattern specialist, or has become our de facto chart pattern specialist. And when he spots it, he'll come bring to you. He's going to explain what a bull flag pattern is looking like on the time frame and the product when he gets there. He's going to share his screen right now. JR been taking JR, you and me, man. Long time frame trade, 6-7 hours in the money just to watch it come back to scratch. JR, we feel you, man. We had it yesterday with that running trade. I saw you were in the chat today. Same thing. Hang in there, though. Your trade ideas are right. Maybe we work on exit a little bit. You got it, Alex Bradley. We read it all, man. Whether we comment or not, we see it all. So, JD, if you're ready, we'll show that bull flag pattern you're talking about. What market? What market were you?
I'm looking at the Nasdaq. I just let Jack know that I'm sharing my charts now too.
Okay.
See if it might take him a minute to get them up.
Polka dotted Vulcan. Thank you. Polka dotted Vulcan is saying the average range for the past 4 Fridays is 265 points.
What are we
for the
today?
Friday New York session? That's a big range.
Thank you. What are we at today? What's our range today? Just ballpark at 265 for the last 4 Fridays, and this will be the 5th Friday. So what are we looking at today, John, for range?
Order filled.
Hang on a second here. Let me look at the
Order canceled.
for New York session, we got a 57-point range.
Oof, yikes.
57-point range. Odds are that's going to not hold.
Order canceled. Order
All right, here
canceled.
we go.
Charts are up there, JD.
Awesome.
Oh,
Send 'em
there they
away.
are.
guys.
Sweet. Yeah, so the bull flag continuation pattern characterized by flagpole, which we have here, started earlier this week. The actual flag pattern.
4 minute or 4 hour chart.
This is a 4-hour chart. Just
Order
represents a
canceled.
period of consolidation or lack of volatility. You see volume kind of drying up a little bit, which is typical, something you want to see for this pattern. When you get a breakout to the upside, this is a continuation pattern. So we're looking at we should be expecting a breakout to the upside, but you want to see a move to the upside. Almost,
Order canceled.
I would say the same. The breakout to the upside should be roughly the same size as the flagpole leading up to the pattern if it were to happen. But
Interesting.
right now we are still just kind of barcoding right in the middle of that range, hovering around VWAP. So nothing to really do right now. Just how does the quote go? Hands on butts. Is that what you say, Hogue?
Hands on the ground.
Yeah. Keep your hands on your butt.
Hey, JD, you
Yeah.
said the breakout is around the same size as
Yeah.
the flagpole?
When you see a breakout on a bull flag pattern, you want to see a move almost relatively the same size as the flagpole leading up to
Okay.
that pattern.
I did not know that.
That's what the textbook says, at least.
Gotcha. Interesting.
You
Interesting.
don't
Good
always
stuff.
get it. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Sometimes you just have your set profit target playing the breakout anyway. And but
Order
that's what I'm looking
canceled.
at right now. Since there's not a whole lot going on, I'm just kind of
I like it. No, that's good
watching it.
stuff. We didn't get a chance. We didn't get a chance to get to it this morning in fast markets. So good thing we got to it now.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on that. That's the 4-hour Nasdaq bull flag formation potentially forming here. That's good stuff. Hey John, if you
Order
don't mind,
filled. Order
we get like
placed.
a Mag 7 update. Anything
Order canceled.
catching your attention over there? Just to do a little roundup.
All right.
Around the world, as we say.
Well, Nvidia took its dive earlier today, seems to be consolidating somewhat.
Order canceled.
Apple doing nothing. Amazon kind of holding a little bit higher, but off its recent highs, and Meta really just kind of barcoding today. So I think the talk of the town was really that Nvidia dive that got taken.
Order filled.
That it took earlier, but it's really kind of consolidating in that range right now.
What price is Nvidia trading? I know 900s is the big key.
Nvidia's at 933 right now, down $10.
Yes.
1%.
Yep.
Just over 1% down. Tesla's up 2.5%. Microsoft down 0.5%. Meta down 0.5%. Google up close to a point, 0.89, 0.9%. Amazon up about a quarter of a point, and Apple is unchanged, pretty flat in Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff.
GameStop is down 23. Mag 8. GameStop is down 23%. It closed the gap from that big rocket ship it was on. So
What kind of schnook would trade that? I'm joking.
Dude, did you
I don't
hear
know.
him? Did you hear him talking about those meme stocks, man? He had thoughts on that Roaring Kitty guy.
Let's go, man.
Oh shoot. Jack,
In
wait.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, sitting in Costa Rica, passing doobies or whatever. Hey, Jack, do we not want to bombard Roaring Kitty with tweets? Are we not trying to do that? I should probably have said that
I don't think
off
that's.
air.
Yeah, probably. But whatever. We're in the open. I mean,
Here
I
we
don't
are.
know. He hasn't done any media appearances ever. So
Why us?
I don't know. That's why I'm careful about talking about like my GameStop position because,
Who's listening?
there's some crazies out there.
Yes, there are. I think about it every day.
No
Jack.
doubt about it.
Every day. Every day. But yes, that was power. That was a power player special right there with Peter Tuckman. Go back and watch that. That guy can cook, man. JD, was that you that came in there and said let him cook? Was that you, JD?
Let him cook, yeah. Let the man
Yeah,
work.
that was you. That was perfect. Just
Don't
shut
cut him
up,
off.
Andre. Get out of the way. Let him go. Hey, taking a look at the S&P ladder right now. The dom, call it what you will. We got a 600 lot sitting on the 53.16 quarter bid. 600 lot on the 53.16 quarter bid. We do know how S&Ps like to gravitate towards liquidity. We'll see if that gets filled here. It is slow.
That's MP.
It is MP. That's what he wants to be, John. That's what he wants to be. Seriously, that's what he wants it to look like by the end of the year. So we'll see.
Yeah. That 15 bid in the Nasdaq has been there all morning long. There's about 172 bid there right now. It's been sitting there, hasn't moved. I've been watching it. And
Gotcha,
then down at 05, every 10 points or so, there's some liquidity in the Nasdaq down below.
They're stacking bids.
Stacking bids.
172 lots. Yep. Nice catch there, JD. 130 lot on 05s. Yep. Okay. So there is liquidity down there. Market does want to go.
Those, when those 100 lot traders come in the Nasdaq, they usually do pretty well. We were following them pretty closely for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And they hit more often than they miss. I'll say that.
Paper. Don't fight paper. That's what we taught early on in my trading career. Do not fight paper.
No, when I was deck holder in the lumber pit. And,
Good old day.
I got this big stack of orders. The runners would bring us the orders and we'd stack them so that we could peel through them quickly as the market moved. And, I said, "Hey, John, the upside is really thick today. What's going on?" He says, that means that's where we're going.
Huh.
You said the way he put it was, the market always goes to the point of greatest aggravation. The market is going to go to where the most trade can be facilitated. And you know what? It was 100% for sure. I said, okay, I guess we're moving higher. So just make sure you got a lot of the upside deck in with the broker. I used to give them half the upside or half the downside or both, and just make sure that it's right and it's good. And pretty soon, the market would start rallying. So, I used to, I don't know if it's insider information, but I used to, just tell my dad, "Hey, the upside in lumber is looking pretty thick." Pretty soon, I'd see an order come in with his account number on it.
Running through them. Nice.
All he
yeah.
said was this.
Yeah.
All he said was this. How big the deck was. You can
Yeah.
do with it what you
Yeah,
want.
deck's looking pretty thick on the upside, Pop.
You can take it from there.
Well, the locals always said, one peek at the deck is worth three edges.
I like that. That's where we're going today. So that's essentially what we're talking about here. You see that 600 lot here in the S&P. We see those 100 lots here to the downside beneath the market right now in the Nasdaq. It's kind of what we're saying. May go there. Obviously, it's not the open. We are. Bonds keep grinding lower. Hoop says. Hoop was also really fired up about that lumber talk, John. Hoop was loving that. Hoop was loving that.
That was a great market, man. It was just, it was thick. There was a lot of orders, not too many locals in there, so you really had a good chance at getting some decent edges off the paper. It was a great spreading market, a lot of spreaders. It was a great market, and that's where JD's dad was a broker. He knows.
Yeah.
JD,
My dad was in the lumber for many, many years. Yeah. In the morning, we would drop him off at the train. We'd all pile into the minivan. My mom would drive us. We'd drop dad off at the train, and then the rest of us would get dropped off at school. But we always took the route where the freight train went along the street, so we get stopped at the same freight train every day, heading into the city. And every day, my father would say, if you don't see a car of lumber on this train, we're going limit up today. And sure enough, that's how they traded it.
Yeah, it was like if it's raining on LaSalle Street, sell soybeans.
Sell the beans.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Not a damn soybeans being grown on LaSalle Street, but the traders that trade it, they're right there. So that's all they need to feel.
Do we have a little housekeeping that we didn't get to earlier?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, the Emotional Trading Journal. I'm going to throw the link in the chat right now. That's been our key for the week. It's been our focus. Our tip of the week is having a clear mindset going into the markets. So I'm going to drop a link in here. Hogue, actually, did you put this together? The Emotional Trading Journal?
Yeah, I kind of created it from something that was suggested by one of the trading psychologists I had the benefit to work with a number of years ago. And so I would just kind of do it on a loose leaf piece of paper. But when I was doing individual personal performance coaching, one of the people that was in that kind of put a template together that was like on a spreadsheet. And then we just kind of made it look even nicer and branded it to Top Step. So the concept is the same, whether you want to use that or if you want to use a loose leaf piece of paper. It's a lot of the things that Dr. Steenbarger was talking about yesterday, and Anne Marie talks about, and I talk about, and Rips and everybody that kind of likes to keep track of their emotions and how those emotions guide their decision making, especially when we're under duress or if we're angry or feeling something emotional that we can't really put a finger on. And so when I first was given this homework, let's call it, I was like, I don't really like this. And the trading psychologist was like, well, I know, but you're going to give it a try and we'll talk about it next week. And so the next week comes and we have our meeting and he says, how'd the emotional journal go? Did you struggle with it? What do you think? And I said, well, honestly, I didn't do it because I don't think it's for me. And he says, well, let's do it the next week and we'll talk about it on the next week. So at that point, he's like, we don't have anything to talk about. So let's just end this and we'll talk next week. And I blew it off again. And when I told him that, he was like, well, John, it's been nice getting to know you. Good luck with your trading. Good luck finding somebody you can work with. But I'm out. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm paying you this, that. He says, yeah, you're paying me, but you're not doing the things that I'm asking you to do. You don't see that it's going to be beneficial to you yet, but you won't even give it a try. So you're wasting your time and money and you're wasting my time. And I don't have time for this. So I said, okay, let's do it.
Order
And,
filled.
it's a practice, you're kind of
Order
just
canceled.
trying to note down certain things that are changing, before you get into a trade, in a trade, while the trade is going on, exit, and even after the trade, keeping track of changes physically, mentally, and emotionally will eventually, and it won't take too long if you're anything like me, help you find kind of
Order filled.
trends, if you will, in your response in certain situations, in certain things, patterns, if you will. You're going to find patterns in your behavior based on your emotions. I'm one of these people that doesn't believe that you can control emotions. It's exhausting.
Yep.
You can't do it. So you better learn how to use those emotions to your advantage. And doing this emotional journal is one way that that I found was